Alright guys, it's Veggy here. Just gonna make a quick video to basically break down today's patch for you. I'm sure a lot of you had a pretty big file to download when you switched on your consoles or PC today to play Dark Souls. While this patch is mostly about bug fixes, there have been a number of balance changes as well. A lot of weapons gotten nerfed or buffed, as well as armor sets. Spells as well. Faith in particular took a pretty big hit today. If you check the description page at the bottom, I should have a link to the Reddit post that's got all these changes stockpiled. I think it is missing one or two things though. The only one off the top of my head is the holy water. Holy water took a pretty big nerf, I believe, in terms of damage. I can't remember. Holy water took a pretty big nerf anyway. Alright, so running you through this, as you can see, a lot of these are just fixes, like fixing loading screen issues, bugs, etc. But if we scroll down, this is a massive change. I mean, we needed this one. Adjusted the sound made when the Silver Eagle kite shield is hit. Yeah, that's definitely something that needed to be fixed. Alright, here we go. Here are the real changes that people want to see. So as you can see, like science halberds, a lot of stuff won't be able to. Let's try and increase this a little bit so you can see. Here we go. So stun locking, in essence, stun locking's out of the game. I think there's a thingy here for it. Where is it? Here we go. Shorten the amount of time stunned when taking damage from multiple attacks. So stun locking is gone. So no more infinites in the game. A lot of combos that used to work in the past that were 3 or 4 hits won't work anymore either. And that's a good change as well. I think a lot of players will agree with that change. Defender's Greatsword can be enchanted. Now, while that might seem like a buff, it actually doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because the Defender Greatsword got nerfed pretty hard this patch, but we'll go down to that later on. Lucerne's strong attack will penetrate shields. That's an interesting change. We'll have to actually go to the lab with that one and see the exact changes to it. See if it's worth it in the long run. These are just description changes, or description fixes rather. Scroll down and see what else we got. Alright, so health recovery items can no longer be used during PvP. That's actually a mistranslation. It actually means you cannot Estus Flask any longer in arenas. So obviously if you're a red bro or if you're a blue bro and you've done arenas, you've probably got annoyed at some point about people running away and then Estusing behind the corner. So they won't be able to do that anymore. You can still use healing spells though. Increased the matching range for users in online play. From what I can gather from this one is they've broadened the range in soul memory. Now, I don't think that will actually fix the underlying issues with soul memory. I think regardless you're still gonna hit those level 800 plus Havel mages. But we'll have to wait and see with that one. But in the long run I don't think it's gonna really matter if they increase the different soul memory tierings. Overall balance adjustments made to weapons, armors, accessories, etc. So let's see what we got. Okay, so increased the durability and lowered the defense levels of the following armor sets. This is pretty much the heavy armor sets in the game. So Havel's armor, Vengal, Mastodon, Smelt armor, etc. Now before you start celebrating that the heavy armors got nerfed, it's not a big nerf. It really is only a small nerf. I think the entire Havel's armor only lost like 20 armor, which is nothing really. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes really. But it's not much of a nerf to be honest. You're still going to be seeing plenty of high level Havel mages running around, as well as Bengals. This is an interesting change actually. They've increased the damage on Bandit's Knife and Mannequin Knife. Well, they've increased the special single attack moves rather. If you scroll down to the descriptions, I've actually got a link to another Reddit post which compares the damage of most of the weapons, I think, if not all the weapons, pre-patch and post-patch, so you can see exactly what the differences are. And if I recall, these actually got a pretty big buff, so these might be interesting to use now. Increase the attack of all these weapons as well. It's a lot of weapons actually. They've even buffed the Lost Sinner sword. But they've also made some very, very strange buffs as well. They've actually buffed the Santia Spear this patch for some very, very strange reason. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Santia Spear this patch, I think. Scrolling down. Obviously they've nerfed some weapons as well. So they've nerfed these weapons here. So Drangleic Sword took a hit, Defender's Sword took a hit. The other four though, they've only had their strong attacks nerfed rather than the actual weapons themselves. What else we got? Increased status values. There's nothing interesting. Plus the changes for these are listed at the bottom anyway. So as you can see from this, Defender's Greatsword has been pretty nerfed. The Watcher Greatsword as well, but I don't think that got nerfed as much as the Defender's. I mean, Defender's had what? It's had its weight increased, decreased durability, increased the enchantment statistics. I'm not sure what that one's about actually. I'm gonna have to double check that one. Decreased the weight of Butcher's Knife. They've added a status value to the Handmaid's Ladle, so it kind of got a buff. It's kind of had a buff given to it. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. It was something like +1 to Vitality and something else. I can't remember. But again, it's in that link at the bottom. If you check the weapons pre-patch and post-patch, it'll tell you what the exact change was to it. Decrease the amount of damage for all these weapons. None of these weapons are really used much, to be honest. Helix Helmet maybe, but the rest not so much. Look along. Okay, they've actually increased the amount of damage you do to yourself when using the Chaos Blade. We're gonna have to see what the exact damage values are, because it might be severe enough for you to not even bother with the Chaos Blade anymore. You might as well just use a washing pole. This is a good change though. They've actually adjusted the hit detection on the Scythe of Want, the strong attack basically. If you remember the Scythe of Want pre-patch, when you used the R2, it had no hitbox whatsoever, so you could be like pretty much in your enemy's face, use R2 and nothing hits. They've actually buffed that so you actually do damage now and actually hits your opponents. Increased, yeah, this is a meta change. Okay, these two here, these are pretty interesting changes. So the old Sun Ring, they've actually changed the point of explosion in the blaster of the old Sun Ring. We'll have to check whether that's actually a buff or a nerf. I'm guessing most likely a nerf though. The other one though, Gower's Ring of Protection got nerfed pretty hard. If you remember Gower's Ring of Protection pre-patch, it used to just negate back damage completely. Now it just reduced the damage rather than negate it. So that took a pretty big nerf, really. That's nothing. Okay, a lot of spells have been buffed this patch, or rather their tracking has been buffed this patch. All these spells here. Soul Bolt, Soul Shower, Shockwave. Well, I'm not going to read all these. These are a lot of spells. Anything interesting? Decrease stamina on these spells. They seem to have done some stuff with Iron Flesh in this patch actually. Because not only have they decreased the amount of stamina it consumes, they've also... where is it? It's down here somewhere. They did do another thing with it. There we go. They've even increased the effectiveness of it, whatever that means. We'll have to test that one. Certain multi-ink spells got hits. So Firestorm, Fire Tempest, Soul Vortex, etc. So when you use them now, they actually do less hits than before. What else we got? Yeah, Faith took a pretty big hit this patch in terms of the amount of spells you can cast. Lightning spears especially. All the different tiers of lightning spears have been hit pretty hard. But I think they've actually increased the amount of damage they do to compensate for it though, so we'll have to see how that goes. Increase the amount of achievement slots for Unveil and Immolation. Immolation got a buff this patch actually, because not only did they decrease the amount of achievement slots it requires, it also does less damage to the person using Immolation as well, so it might actually be worth using now. We'll have to test that one and see if it's worth it. Because, let's be honest, it would be cool to just, you know, set yourself on fire and just run towards your opponent. So yeah, Faith got hit pretty hard. Oh, here we go, yeah. So yeah, looks like they did increase the damage on the spears, but they've reduced the amount of spears you can have. They increased the damage in a bit force as well, actually. Increased the hit radius on force. Increased the effectiveness of Whisper of Despair, both duration and effect. Okay. Repel got a little buff. Decrease character mobility when using Amber Herb, Twilight Herb, and Wilted Dusk Herb. Don't know what to make of that change. But yeah, this has pretty much been the majority of the changes this patch. So yeah, you've had a lot of bug fixes. A lot of stuff got nerfed or buffed. Santia Spear, you're gonna have to watch out for Santia Spear this patch, because it got a pretty meaty buff. Defender's Greatsword got nerfed, took a pretty big hit. Faith builds in general have taken a hit, Lightning Spears in particular. They've had their casts lowered, but apparently they've had their damage increased. We'll have to check to see how much. But yeah, it seems like a lot of weapons got buffed though, ones that were underutilized. So hopefully you'll be seeing, you know, better variety in weapons now when PvPing, etc. Daggers especially, I mean, Bandit's Knife and Mannequin Knife might be worth looking into now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's an interesting patch to say the least. I still feel like they haven't really addressed soul memory properly. All they've really done is increase the soul memory range, and I don't think that'll really fix the underlying issue with soul memory. But we'll have to wait and see. You're still gonna see Havel mages running around. Havel armor didn't really take much of a hit at all. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this patch. Most of the patch is good. I agree with it. A lot of stuff got buffed that needed to be buffed. A lot of stuff that needed to be nerfed got nerfed. Stun locking is out of the game, thank God, so you won't be seeing infinites anymore. But yeah, it's a good patch to prepare you for the DLC coming on the 22nd. Which will bring its own set of problems. I promise you that. I'm sure you'll be seeing some of the DLC stuff nerfed or buffed during Dark Souls 2's life cycle. Speaking of which, probably about an hour or two after you watch this video, I will have another video out about the DLC actually. Crown of the Sunken King is the first DLC on the 22nd. Obviously, it's a trilogy DLC, so this is the first of 3. And my video will be about most of the items, not all of them. Only the stuff I'm allowed to talk about, basically, since it's already out on the net due to PC hackers. So yeah, unless you don't want it spoiled for you, I recommend you don't watch the video, because I will be talking about a lot of the different weapons, about some of the armor sets, about the different spells. There'll be pictures as well, so you'll be able to see how some of that stuff looks, which is pretty cool. One armor set in particular looks really cool, this DLC. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned.